Yes, 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 yes. Hello, it's Brandy. I'm gonna do a different cover for this. Um, it's been a week. This is a little gosling. I suspect that it was born today or yesterday. It's got quite a swollen face. Um, and it's not doing too well. So, and mom abandoned him. So I'm mom now. Um, and I've got, a little towel here, got a little basket here. I've got, of course, my body for heat, and also this little hand warmer jam for extra heat. He has been, baby has been sleeping in my shirt for a while, but he's perking up. Or she, baby is perking up. Different venue today. It's just been a week. It's been a week. Let's see. I last spoke to you guys on, well, what? Would you like to come back up here? Well, come up here. That's where you should be. That's where you should be. It's warmer up there. Stop being, having your own ideas and stuff. Anyway, um, so let's see. I last spoke to you guys on Sunday. It really wasn't a bad day. I gardened, you know, the garden. I don't know what's going on, guys, but all of the seeds that I sow, except for my nightshades, are croaking. So I'm gonna have to buy some starts tomorrow. Um, I was gonna do that today, but everything is closed for Easter, and frankly, I've been really busy with the animals. So yes, what? Okay, baby. Okay. Um. So I haven't gotten done what I need to get done. So, which is make a list so that we only have to go as few paces as possible, just once a week. Um, and it seems like we're out of vegetables again. I don't know how we run out of vegetables so quickly, but I guess we eat them. I don't know. Um, anyway, let's see. So Monday was a debacle with all this drama surrounding a vehicle we had sold years ago, but unfortunately, the people we had sold the vehicle to never transferred the title, they registered it, and all these years later, it got impounded. Um, so yeah, that we had to deal with that on Monday. Calling the sheriff, who was really helpful, the DMV, who was like, I don't know what happened, and the tow truck guy, who was fucking nuts. And he was threatening us, and he was just really, really um, trying to force us to pay him, which we're like, we don't own this car, so we're not going to pay you. Yes, baby, yeah. Well, you're cold. Then nuzzle up, bubba. Here, let me put this on the bottom of you. So you can have it extra warm. There, there, there. Um, and then, so that was really stressful for my husband. This tow truck guy was fucking crazy. That was the whole thing. And then, um, we finally got it straightened out. No, we didn't get it straightened out. We finally got all of our paperwork turned in on Tuesday, and they were like, "Oh, we'll contact you." So we worked on the garden, we cleaned the house, we're organizing stuff, we're getting things for sale on Craigslist. We're trying to be productive, trying to make the most of being at home. And Wednesday was Bobo's vet appointment. He was supposed to be having a procedure. So Bo is my oldest Basset, and he was born January 2nd of 2011, so he'll be 10 in January. And He's had a lot of health problems lately. I mean, he's lost a lot of weight over time. He has this constant issue with his nose. Um, but the most recent thing was that, like, the other dogs kept harassing his bottom, and he was acting weird with his bottom. So on Sunday, last Sunday after the live, but before bed, I lifted his tail, and it was his butt was huge. His rectum was still on the inside. I didn't see his rectum, but his anus, I guess I should say, would be the proper word. So, oh man, first thing on Monday morning, I called the vet, and um, that was not this last Sunday, but the one before. This is 2 weeks ago, and they suspected he had an infected anal gland because his rectal tissue is really swollen and bleeding, and Bo was having a really, really hard time stooling. So it's probably a lot. Sorry, guys. So we gave him antibiotics, which my dog you cannot trick. So we've tried peanut butter, bacon, cheese, blah 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 blah, mixing it in with his food. He knows, and he has some amazing dexterity with his tongue because he can get the pills out. So my husband has to catch him and basically stick it as far down his yes, baby, yes. Stick it as far down his throat as he can, and then hold his mouth shut until he swallows. So it's not my husband's favorite, and it's not definitely not Bo's favorite. Um, so there's that. So we did that for all these days. The idea being that he would have so many antibiotics on board, and it would help reduce whatever problem was happening there, and then they would sedate him Wednesday morning and remove what they needed to remove so that he could properly heal. So my husband gets up and is dropping him off at the vet. And before my husband even gets home from dropping him off at the vet, which is not even 3 miles from our house, the doctor's already on the phone with me. And he says that um, his rectal wall is still really thick. And he, he probably has cancer, although it's possible he has an autoimmune disease, but that's kind of rare. And so we could know for sure if I get a biopsy for $500. But I kind of suspected he had cancer anyway because of the weight loss, and he sleeps 20 hours a day. It's not just like weight loss on his weight, it's like his head. Oh, sorry, baby, sorry. You okay? His head is like sinking in. His face is turning white. All of his little ribs. He's like a little wasp waist. I mean, he's. Oh, thank you, lip. Um, so basically, my husband got home, and we agreed that we would try prednisone to reduce inflammation and make him more comfortable. But that there really isn't any way to solve this problem, and so we're just going to have to manage the symptoms and see if we can't make him less miserable. And so that's what we're doing. So now he has prednisone. I think today was his last day of antibiotics. The good news is the prednisone has helped him be able to go stool again and even wag his tail, which he hadn't done in a long time. And we're feeding him all sorts of people food and spoiling the hell out of him. But yeah, so there's that. And and then my hours got reduced at work, which it is what it is. And there's lots of really strict rules. Oh my gosh, that is so terrible. That is so terrible. I'm so sorry. Losing a puppy is. Oh, okay. Do you want to be somewhere a little more open? Losing a puppy sounds awful. Hold on. We got a little wiggler here. So basically that was the beginning of the week, and then being a nurse in a pandemic is pretty stressful. Everybody's really worried. We have a lot of rules for our safety, for patient safety. So that's a lot. to deal with. And, it's beautiful outside and we're stuck at home. So that's really challenging, especially for my husband and son. Let me see. Friday morning, there was a fire in the valley. Thankfully, they got it under control pretty quickly. But where I live, once the fires start, it gets so bad that like the air quality is basically equivalent to China. It's really, really bad. And so my head went straight to the worst where it's like, oh God, we're gonna get off quarantine, we're gonna have a week of good weather, and then we're gonna be having fire season. But then my husband sent me a video of goslings. We had goslings. They were just born. Oh baby. Yes. On Friday, 5. So that was great. That was really happy and exciting. It's always good when, life happens. And then Saturday, my husband's like, there's 8 now. And so there was 8 little goslings. And so usually that's not ideal. And the reason is, yes, baby, yes. The reason is, because usually once the mom starts seeing goslings, she will not sit on the eggs anymore, and there's still tons of eggs left because like chickens and ducks and geese will kind of sidle up next to the broody one and lay eggs underneath her so that there's more chance that babies will be born. So there's tons of eggs under this goose. And so we're keeping an eye on the situation to make sure everybody's okay. And then this morning, I noticed that Big Brother, so one of the geese from last year, the goslings born last year. Oh, thanks, Jano. Um, and so I noticed that she had 6 of them with her, and I was like, "Whoa, where's the other 2?" And I was looking over by the nest, and I saw one kind of walking funny, and I was like, "Okay, if there's one injured, we need to go get it because it won't make it. It'll have to be raised by humans." So, so we have 4 adult geese. The mama sitting on them. There's the dad and 2 other adults kind of around. There's 2 adults down in like our little by our fire pit with the 6 chicks, with the 6 baby, with the goslings actually is what they're called. And then there was mama sitting on the nest with 2 goslings near her and daddy was nearby. So I have a big long stick and I'm trying to distract mom so my husband can get in and see what's going on. See what's going on with this chick. Oh baby. I really prefer if you sleep up here. Let's sleep up here. Yes, sleep up here. Um so there was nothing wrong with the chick's leg. What happened was we have netting over the top of the hen house in the summer to keep birds out from getting them. And so some residual that we had, I guess, lost track of was in this bush, and this gosling had his leg wrapped in it, and he was stuck. So my husband, he was really stuck. So my husband had to like lift this gosling who's squawking. I'm trying to hold the mom down. The dad is like biting my husband's behind. And he's trying to saw this net off the ground. So then we get the baby up and then we carefully cut all the netting off of his little leg and we put it back by mom. But in her fighting to get my husband, I noticed that there was a dead gosling in the nest. And if you leave the dead gosling there, it'll rot and kill everybody else because it's a rotting body. So then we have to fight her again. And so I'm holding her down. My husband's still getting bit by this other goose, which getting bit and attacked by a goose really hurts, surprisingly. And I'm trying to reach in and grab this dead baby, which is not my favorite thing to do. Grabbing dead babies is not fun. And then the other geese decided they had enough and they fly over the wood pile and they're all biting my husband. And he's like, hurry up, hurry up. So I get the little body and we dispose of it. And I thought everything was going to be cool, right? Um, But then I'm working on cataloging all of my candles because I'm going to do a collection video. I know it's been a day. I'm going to do a collection video. Just as you guys, a lot of people really like to see what I have acquired. I know. Okay. And so I'm working on that, but it's actually, some of them are kind of old. I haven't gotten around to. So I like to catalog them by order of how long I've had them so I know which ones to use first. And I don't know why. I'm really suspicious. So I looked outside and the nest was empty. And so I'm like, I called my husband who was weed whacking in the back, because our property goes down to a creek, and he was on the top of the like hill weed whacking, because so predators, if he sees a predator, he can hit it instead of it hiding. Um, and he comes over, and I'm like, where are the geese? He's like, the geese are all over here. And I'm like, count the goslings. So he counted the goslings, but one was missing. And so he went back to the nest, and this little baby here was by himself with nobody keeping him warm, nobody taking care of him. He was trembling. He was not, or she is not doing well. I think he got injured because this eye is really swollen, and he's just really weak. And so he's probably going to pass away. But I would rather he have lots of love and warmth and the best that we can do for him in the interim. And so he's on my chest because that's what he would do with mom, right? He would be under her bottom. And I've got other stuff to keep him warm. We made the trip to the Grange even though I wasn't ready and they were closed anyway. So then we had to go to the grocery store so that I could make electrolytes, poultry electrolytes. It's basically molasses with baking soda, salt, and potassium. And they said, like, just push fluids, which is basically what we do with humans, right? Um, and keep it warm and push fluids and see what can happen. Hi, Yvette. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna see if we're gonna have a life or a death. But I mean, it was just, it's really like emotionally draining. Um, because there's so much good and a lot shitty too. I know. I hope so too, Jen. I don't know if he'll be ever well enough to go out with the geese. But because of all that's going on in the world right now, it's really hard to get any baby animals anyway. So, like, you can't get chicks, you can't get ducks, you can't get goslings or poults. So it's really challenging to get those animals anyway. So I could easily sell them, and preferably to somebody who had other goslings, because geese are social animals. They shouldn't be on their own. So hopefully that will be the outcome. I've got a little basket here, and that's where we're gonna sleep tonight, baby. With a little, I'm gonna put the hot packs on the bottom with a towel, and then a lamp on top. Um, and that's what we're gonna try to do to keep this little guy alive. He wants to be in the dark. Um, so we're hoping that he will live. Um, I've been really lucky though, because I've been able to be more active on YouTube and in my channel. I'm trying to catch up on videos, but it's just so many people. Uh, so I have a list of tags that I want to do at some point. Of course, I'm doing my unboxings as they come. Um, I'm cataloging my candles for a collection video. I have a couple other things that I want to do and I hope to get done this weekend. Oh, Rochelle, hi, how are you? Long time since I've had a chance to chat with you. Um, I've just got a little gosling. He's not doing too well. Baby, not doing too well. So hopefully we will live. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. So hopefully we'll live. Because my son is really invested at this point. Although he does remember when our turkey died last year, and so I try to expose him to death in that way, just because unfortunately having animals, that is sometimes what happens. But also, nothing drives home the consequences of your actions more than knowing that if you don't do the right thing, something will die. But nothing really drives home the lessons of karma better than doing all the right things and something still dies. So those are harder. That's more of an abstract concept that he probably won't grasp right away. There's probably going to be quite a bit of devastation when, if, oh, I'm sorry, if this little baby doesn't make it. So if I'm giving you lots of white healing light. Um, so there's that. Oh God, Rochelle, yes, it's been crazy. Bobo has cancer in his butt, so it's just been crazy. We had a car that we sold years ago. Oh, okay, okay. Car that we sold years ago. Oh, okay, Yvette. Are you? Hope everything's okay over there. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Um, so I have been organizing and planting, and the planting's not going particularly well. Let me tell you what, guys. For some reason, all my little starts are dying, and I'll tell you the reason. I have a 5-year-old who really wants to help me, and so every chance that he gets, he takes the hose to water, but instead of the gentle misting function, he takes it like a fucking fire hose on these 4 starts. And I can tell when he's done it because they're all sideways. And so I'm going to probably have to. I spent all that money on seeds, and I'm going to probably have to um, buy starts as well. So we'll see how that goes. Yes, yes, oh yes. Okay. You ready for some drinks? So I've got this little medicinal drink over here. Um, native molasses for the baby. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay. Put your little beak in it. I know you don't like it. Oh, why do you gotta stick your whole head in it? I'm just cleaning your face. Lord. He's not pleased. So one of his eyes is doing really not good. And I wonder if in the struggle this morning he got stepped on. Which we can totally manage as long as he keeps his temperature up, and the electrolyte drink will help him keep hydrated and keep his energy. Um, so there, I know, poor baby. It's awful, Rochelle. He's just like literally probably less than 24 hours old at this point, and he's already having a journey. But we'll see. Hopefully, it'll all work out great. Um, I have a video coming up tomorrow that I'm really, really excited about. So you guys may have noticed on my community tab, hey, that I was looking for more boxes. So I did. Thank you guys, everybody who contributed in the poll. I picked a couple that I'm going to be trying, and a couple surprise ones that will be popping up on the channel. So stay tuned for that. And but mostly I've been really, really, really wanting decks. So I got out all my decks. They're literally all stacked right here. I don't know, something like 30 on it. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Congratulations to you. You did amazing. Hi, Lady Blind Wolf. So I don't have very many tarot decks. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. He fluctuates between wanting to borrow and wanting to be Um, thanks. So, let's see. I have them in order by which ones I got first. So, of course, this is my Lover's Path Tarot that I've had for ages. And then I've got the Shadowscapes, had for about a year or two. The Tarot Lanu. I have that. I don't have very many tarot. If you guys watch my channel, you know I'm kind of an oracle deck girl. I love that meme where it's like, where it's like the divination teacher from Harry Potter is like, oh, she's oracle cards. Then it's just the Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost, whose tarot cards like you in danger, girl. That's like the best thing because it's true. My tarot cards are just not uh not into babying me at all. So I got this one too. This one came in a Witch's Moon box. I love that. Um, I got this one in the Wevolve box, and also Kaylee Sunflower unboxed it. The Modern Witch Tarot deck. Oh, you're getting cold? Okay. Well, let's bump you up. Hi, Dee. I missed you. I love you too. I got the Tarot Musha. So I have to watch your video, Rochelle, because this is all Los Scarborough. This one and the Art Nouveau one are by the same company, and you also did an unboxing like today or yesterday of the. This is the first one I bought for myself in 15, 16 years. So, but it's beautiful. This is the first card that I got too. I got this card as a bookmark from Anita Apothecary. It was so beautiful, and Dee was like, "Oh, that's this deck, and it's really beautiful." And so it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. I love it. So I bought it, which is my first deck that I bought in 15 years, and my first tarot deck, and it's beautiful. What I really like, I got one in a box this month, and so I actually really like the Golden Art Nouveau is really pretty too. They look really similar. If you go to Patsy's channel, she did a side by side, and they are very very similar. Um, so um, I'd like to do a side by side with all of them and see like what all of them look like. And I'm looking to buy more decks. I actually bought a tarot deck yesterday, so I went from not buying one for 15 years to buying two in like a couple months. So the one I'm bought yesterday was from Threads of Fate. Um, and I'm really excited about that. And then as far as oracles go, whoa, I've got a lot of them. Yeah, well, you okay? You okay? Um, so but the one that's coming up on my channel tomorrow is this beauty. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's the Threads of Fate Shadow Oracle. And come here, come here, come here. What are you doing? And I'm really excited to work with it. Oh baby. Poor little thing. So it's coming out tomorrow. It's my husband says that they're like loud, so to speak. He likes this other deck that I bought recently. I've actually bought a lot of Oracle decks recently. So let's see here. His favorite deck that I bought recently is this one. He really likes this one a lot. And I like it a lot too. I'm really into the ancestor thing right now, which is a good thing because it's really really potent, powerful, grounding magic. Ooh, the Vedic astrology study deck. I love astrology. I'll have to check that out. No, I'm drinking a Coke. Sorry, it's been a long week. But I have to go check out your guys' um deck walkthroughs because I am looking to buy more decks. I just don't know which ones to buy. Um because I want to start doing that part of my daily I want to start doing that part of my daily practice again because I haven't really been doing it. And I mean, it's something that I hear a lot of people talking about, both, in our community on YouTube and on also in my local witchy group for Oregon. Sorry, my little flyaways are rough. It's just like, you know, either with everything that's going on, you have like a ton of time to do like all of this good, deep spiritual work, or you don't have any time, or what I think is worse is like you don't have any motivation to do it. You're not connected with your spiritual practice. Ooh, tell me which ones you bought. I want to know. And so instead of feeling like guilt, I usually get guilty. I usually feel like a charlatan because I'm on here and I talk about magic all the time, and then like I my own personal practice gets on the back burner. Number one, you're not a charlatan. The magic is in you. You don't have to do magic to be a witch. Number two, don't beat yourself up. It's just like anything else. You're not going to always, you know, feel in the mood or connect in the mood or always want to do things the way that you always do them. You have to give yourself some grace. And so for me, giving myself grace has been reading. I love reading. One of the things that went by the wayside with grad school is my personal reading. And so I've been making a conscious effort to. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze, guys. I'm so sorry. Trying to look up and make it go away. So I've been making a personal effort to. One of my main things that I do is every day I write down where all the planets are. So the sun is in Aries, the moon is waning, and God, we've got to be in either Sagittarius or Capricorn. No, we're in Capricorn now. The moon is waning in Capricorn, waning gibbous. Mercury is Mars. Venus is like what? Gemini, and so on and so forth. I write them down every day. I can't think of it like off the top of my head. So that's one thing. At least I know what planetary influences I'm dealing with. Although with my week, you would think that it's retrograde season, which, by the way, guys, 5 retrogrades coming up in the next couple months, starting with Pluto on the 25th. God help us, or divine, whatever you worship. Um, so I've been doing that. I've been writing down my dreams. I've been having particularly like vivid, powerful ones. And I've been trying to catch up through my almanacs. You guys know I collect almanacs every year. I got behind last year, and so now I'm working my way through. Yes, 2019. Working my way through 2019. I'm on the second to last book almanac. Okay, in there. I haven't heard any peeps. I think he's asleep. The Wild Unknown Archetypes. I wanted that deck. Um, the Wild Unknown Archetypes. I do want, but I wanted to wait till the second printing because I heard that on the first printing that some of the pictures were like skewed. So please let me know how that goes. I think Astaria Sen. Hi, baby. I think Astaria Sen just did a walkthrough on that oracle. Back in the day when I bought these other 2 decks, I Hey Jess, can you put this somewhere more stable? I don't want it to spill. In my bosom. Oh. Where's Canyon?
Okay.
Okay. So I used to have the Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud. I'm not really into fairies. So can you close that door, Daddy? Thank you. So that one kind of, went elsewhere. It wasn't something that I held on to for. Oh, good. I'm glad, Rochelle. I had seen, I was stalking that deck on Amazon, and like a lot of the reviews said that they're their cards were not correct. They were kind of weird. So it just goes to show you can't trust negative reviews all that much. So that's where I completely lost my train of thought, but I think that I was saying something. I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. I love Oracle decks. Oh, spiritual practice. That's what I was saying. So I've been reading through. I'm working through this one, which I kind of like already know because I also watch Diane, and she likes to do a little segment where she reads out of this and does journal prompts. So I'm just jotting down the ones that I feel like are a good idea, the ones that I tried, the ones that I want to try, and I'm about a third, maybe a third is generous, between a third and a quarter through. So that's been really nice. I just finished the Earthly Taurus. Um, okay, good, Rochelle. I'm gotta check that out. So I finished The Witch's Companion, which had some really good meaty um articles in it. So that's really like a current events witchy thing with like different articles about different things. One of them was about roadkill, and it was really good because it was like the author is part of a pagan group, and one of her friends had hit a deer. Hi, Amethyst Moonstone had hit a deer and killed it, and she was furious with the deer for breaking her car, but she had no empathy whatsoever. Oh, I love the Witch's Almanac. I've gotten almost all of them since I basically came started living on my own. I didn't collect them though, but I'm collecting them now because I really there's some things that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, and then I gave them away when I moved to Korea, and then I have regrets. So definitely keep them. They're good keepsakes, and the information doesn't go bad. But basically, she had this challenging conversation with this group of angry pagans who were just basically denigrating this animal. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. The herbal one is lit. They are on point. I have so many notes about good information, ideas, different things that I need to plant. And that's probably why I got so ambitious this year and it's not going well because perennials and herbs are actually very hard to start. And the seeds are like boop, little tiny seeds. It was a nightmare. I'm going to have to go buy them at the store. So basically she just felt very alienated from this group of pagans that she knew because they had no empathy whatsoever for the animal, which I felt like was really good because I feel like a lot of times when the rubber hits the pavement, people's beliefs, what they say, and their actions don't line up, and so then we got a problem. So it was a really good article because you should feel sad that you killed a deer. The deer died, and you know you killed it. I mean, they do that. I'm not saying beat yourself up. I'm not saying swerve and kill yourself, but I am saying like there is a certain energy exchange that happens when something dies and it's your fault. And it's profound, and you should learn from that moment. Ooh, an arrow garden. I've always wanted one. I believe that too, Amethyst Moonstone. I've always wanted one, but I'm gonna get the garden going, Rochelle. I'm gonna show you guys a video. It's gonna be hilarious because you can see, God bless my little child. He is trying his best, but are we okay? Yep, we're okay. We're sleeping. Um, but he's killing my starts. So even my little onions that I bought starts for, they're flat. And they perk up in the morning, and then I can always tell when he's watered them because they get flat again. Um, and a couple other good articles were Witchy Etiquette, and that one was really good about just like, you know, how your beliefs are, how to respect other people's beliefs, how to work well with others. Um, witchy, just basically some witchy rules. And just like A really good one was Rethinking the Wheel of the Year and how you can kind of revision the Sabbaths to be more in line with the actual land that you live on. Um, Psychic House Cleaning was really good. The the Devil card was really good. Scissors as a magical tool was really good. Ooh, a really good article on the Hamza. Very good. How to Start a Coven, which wasn't my thing. Um, Glamour Dinner Party. Interesting. Composting, which is very practical. I'm going to try to find an area where I can compost on my property. Ooh, this one was a really good article. It was about how all of your moon signs, um, what aspectings mean. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Um, how to know if you're cursed, which I talked about last week, how I disagree with that, but you'd have to go back to the other thing because I went on at length. Sorry. So the roadkill was really good. I love the polarity. It's really good. The chakra one. And I think that's basically it. Oh, Witching on the Chief. That one's really good. Color Magic. Devotional Practice I really like because it's talking about how like magic should be a physical act, but it doesn't necessarily mean like honoring your deities, gods, ancestors, spirit guides should be devotional. You should try to do a devotional thing for them through service, acts of service. So, like, let's say you visited a holy space. She went to visit like a holy well in Ireland, and the request was that they clean up a little bit, and that would be the best way to show devotion to the deity, which was a very interesting concept because, like, when you own land, which we do, we own acreage, you are responsible for that land and what resides there. And so, my husband particularly takes it very seriously because he's the one physically doing most of the pruning and the yard work and the burn pile and the maintenance. Like he's the one doing the devotional work to this land. And so I do most of the garden. Um, and, you know, we both take care of the animals. We both do that. But it really was a really interesting concept. And it goes back to what your thoughts, what your lip service, and what your actions are. And it's just like actions speak louder than words. Only 3 acres. Um, but it seems like a lot more when my husband has to mow it all, especially in the spring. He's always squawking about it, even though we have a riding mower. But hey, oh, here's a good one that I got from the to write wishes on bay leaves and cook them into soup to grant the people's wishes when they eat it. Um, and some other stuff. So basically, I'm just writing down things. Ooh, did we go potty? No, that's just because the hot pack is on me instead of on you. Um. So yeah, it's been really good. So in that way, I have been feeling connected spiritually because I'm learning. And it's all very old for me. Oh, okay, okay. I don't think you like that very much. It's all kind of an old concept for me anyway because when I was young, when I first identified as a witch, I okay, okay, you okay? Are you okay? I was also in the broom closet, and so reading and learning was my main way that I like, invested in my spirituality. There's a lot of roosters, and I think some hens are getting chased. If you can hear the noise out there. So, oh, that's not bad. An acre, you can grow a lot of food on an acre. Um, it's been learning has been a way for me to, number one, invest in myself. Number two, hi Joshua. Um, Number two, ground myself. And number three, feel like I'm doing something spiritually. The other thing that we do is we maintain the ofrenda. And so, and we do light candles there, keep the coffee and the snacks and the water fresh. Yes, yes, okay, yes. Oh my goodness. Are you having a little? I don't know. I think you're not doing too well, baby. I'm so sorry. Um, so we pray there. We keep fresh flowers. We keep the coffee and the water fresh. We cycle through candles. And we have, you know, imagery up there that really inspires us. And so that's been really good. And it's been something we do together as a family. Um, my husband doesn't identify as a witch. He definitely is eclectic. Um, my son's probably going to be a little witch. He's definitely into it. Um, we had a conversation today about how the magic is inside of you and it's not in your tools because he has this big stick and he's like, it's my magic stick. It's my magic stick. And I'm like, magic sticks don't belong in a house. And that was the wrong thing today because it's like, you have magic stick, mama. How come your magic sticks are okay? And I'm like, whoa. I'm not waving them around and hitting the ceiling and touching the dogs and touching the ceiling fan and all this other stuff. Oh, since I was like 14. Um, I remember it really clearly. I'll come right back to that amethyst. So he was touching everything with it, and I was mostly just wanting him to get outside. It's beautiful. Go play. Get out of my hair. And he was just like, "But mommy, I need my magic stick with me because that's how I do magic." And I said, "No, the magic is in you." Then we had a little discussion about that, um, because he does gather herbs, rocks, sticks. I mean things that I did as a kid, but I didn't have the words for it. He has the words for it because obviously his mom's a witch. Sorry, I gotta get a little bit higher up, but I'm trying to stay reclined so that little baby here has something to kind of like sit on. So Rochelle, I have always been interested in witchery and mythology and all this other stuff. When I was a sophomore or freshman. Actually, I was a freshman. Yeah, exactly, Joshua. Exactly. Thank you. That's very true. Um, but one of my teachers, Miss Landry, was a New Orleans witch. She didn't say she was a witch, but she was in New Orleans, and she would read tarot cards for people. And she had oracle decks. She had an animal oracle. I wish I could find it. Um, and I was completely enamored. This was like absolutely correct. I had already for many years been extremely into dreams, extremely into mythology, extremely into astrology, but those are more mainstream things. So my mom was like, whatever, you know. Um, but you start questioning Christianity. And one of my projects in freshman was to read the Bible, and when you actually read it, you're like, what the fuck? Some of it's really, really beautiful. And some of it's like, no, that is not okay. This is all hypocritical. What about what's happening here? So that's one of the beginning parts. And then we had a very religious relative who I was reading my horoscope from the newspaper, and they told me that if I kept reading the horoscope, that God was going to send me to hell. And I'm like, if God is going to send a 14-year-old child to hell for reading a fucking horoscope, then clearly I have the wrong God. So that was basically it for me in my heart. And so at that point, I knew I was a witch. I had a little witchy friend down the street who was like, we were both had protected parents, so we weren't even allowed to like really have books or anything like that. We were kind of just winging it. Um, Hi, thank you for stopping by, Trish. Um, but that's I knew then. I mean, I'm like, no, this is not okay. So that's basically um how I felt like in the beginning. Um, I'm still very much into dreams, astrology, mythology. Actually, not so much mythology anymore. Um, everybody's doing the 20 plus 20 plus 2 questions. It's on my list of tags to do, but I have a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get done first. But I'm looking at it. It's really fun. Good job. Um, I'm watching everybody else's as well, and it seems really good. Uh, what was I gonna say? Oh, um, I was looking at Oracle decks, which we had briefly talked about. I want the archetype one, and Supportive Tarot has a window shopping thing I want to watch, but I really need to invest my focus onto it, um, because I'm not just window shopping. I'm shopping. So I've been kind of looking around. That's how I found this Threads of Fate Oracle. Um, but I have little categories that I'm trying to fill gaps in. Oh, I think we're dying. Because we're kind of not very chipper, or we're sleeping. I don't know. We shall see. Oh, okay, sleeping. Um, I'm trying to identify some gaps in my collection, and I also have been really enamored of this idea of comparison, like side by sides, but with cards. Um, so that's something that I'm brewing in my subconscious. I really, really loved Patty's um, side by side of the Golden Art Nouveau and the Terramuja. And I've been thinking about that. I've been wanting to do something else with that, but with Oracle cards. And I talked a lot about what I'm looking for in a deck in the last video, so I'm not going to beat that with a stick. But I'm also like, even things that don't match, I mean, it's easier when the themes are the same, right? So like, I'm trying to get to a deck that of course is on the bottom of this pile. So for example, oh, my cat is shedding everywhere. It's cat hair. Gross. Stay up there, baby. Stay up there. Um, so I've had this deck for ages, for basically 15 years. And then of course I got the Colette Baron Reed Goddess Power Oracle, which is really, really beautiful. And then Lord have mercy. Let's see if I could do this without knocking everything to the ground. Because I'm not. Where are you going? Where are you going, baby? Stay up here. Um, there we go. So, and then I have the Divine Feminine. And then the other night, I had a really, really fun time just going through these 3 decks and saying, like, okay, of this, which one has all 3 of these goddesses? And, oh, have you seen it, Rochelle? I'm going to do a walkthrough on it, but I really like it. Aw. But basically, I really liked going through and saying, like, okay, what does this one look like and what do they say it means? And it was really, really cool. So, like, for example, let's pull out one of these booklets. I know they all had Isis. Um, they all had Aphrodite. Most of them had, they had Ain, Artemis, and then just comparing the art and it was really cool. Okay. I mean, and that's totally cool. I feel like it's a different um I mean, I like the deck, so let's just start there. I find that if the deck has artwork that moves me, it helps me connect subconsciously. So there's the first thing. I really love her art. Um, and I have been working with a goddess deck for many, many years. And I was gifted this one from Natalie, which I also work with. And so, what I feel like for the goddesses, for all goddesses and all gods, this is my personal belief, and I've said it before, and I'm just going to reiterate briefly here, is that I believe that energy, divine, is polarity, right? And there's a directive or receptive, and I think of it as masculine and feminine, and that every goddess is different faces of the same feminine energy, right? So, if for me, if like Doreen Virtue, who Lord knows she has her problems, and nothing would stop me from using this deck because I'm so deeply connected with it, portrays Isis, what is past life regression, right? And Colette, Baron Reed, portrays her some other way. It doesn't bother me because goddesses are multifaceted creatures just like all of us. And so it's just another aspect of her personality, right? So this one's more of divine feminine. It's not just goddesses, it's saints and famous women from a wide variety of cultures. So I really like that. What I like about all three of these decks is how multicultural they are. There's a lot of different cultures represented. Is it completely inclusive? No. Hi, I'm filming.
I need to go pee.
Okay. Hi, Astaria. So, um, so yes, I would think that if you had, he's just going pee pee. These are just my girlfriends. Okay. And, some guy friends too.
You can totally do it outside. No.
I know, Rochelle. I think it just depends. I know, right? It just depends on what you're looking for. And for me, I am into multifaceted depth for these people. Bye, Trish. Thank you so much for stopping by. So it's interesting to me to compare the representation. Um, I really am looking at it's a new book and it's a deck, and I want to say it's like Legendary Ladies, and it's like 50 different goddesses. And so, come on, guys. And don't forget to close the door. Daddy, can you get him a fresh heat pack so I can put him in the basket?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, close the door. Um, what was I lost my start. Oh yeah, the Legendary Ladies. I'm really looking at that one. The only thing that throws me is that it's a little bit cartoony in the artwork, but I think that is because the book is kind of something that you can share with your family. Oh, that's a good idea, Rochelle. Or if you see one like on a super crazy good deal or like somebody gives you one, then you know that it was meant to be. But if you're on the fence, don't do it. So that's one that I was comparing, and then the other one that I was comparing. The other one that I was comparing over here. Let's see. Come on. I'm gonna put these. That's not gonna work. There we go. That ought to do it. Was the let's see what we got here. Oh yes. The so I have the Queen of the Moon. Oracle, which is really pretty. It's Stacey DeMarco, is really a favorite of mine. And let's see. There is the Spirit de la Lune, which is a huge favorite of mine. I think it's the third deck I ever bought myself. And so I'm quite fond of it. Spirit de la Lune. Another thing I really like about it is that it's differently shaped. I've done a walkthrough of this on my channel. I haven't seen very many other people have this deck. It's really pretty. I love this deck. And so moon deck basically. And then I just bought, I mean, I've seen a lot of people review it and I've been looking at it for a while. And then, you know, I've got this idea now that I want to compare. And so I got the Moonology. And oh man. It's okay, baby. It's okay. I'm here. So I'm comparing all of these. As far as artwork goes, you know, Stacey Marco's got the really beautiful otherworldly, but yeah, kind of realistic at the same time art. And this one's just once I love something, I love it deeply. And so I'm really attached to this. And I think that this is just like it all rounds it out pretty good. So I'm excited to go through and compare those because so I'm interested in like a full moon, full moon, full moon, put them side by side, right? Or what the harvest moon, harvest moon, harvest moon, or Aries, 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 whatever. I'm really interested in seeing how that. Oh, awesome! It is. I love this deck, and I have the planner too. It's a great deck. So I really like that. I'm keeping an eye out for. There's a couple other moon decks that I'm thinking of, including one that's called the Moon Deck, and so I am really curious about it. But I mean, the color scheme is a little bit turning me off. Not that it's bad. It's just like to me not very the Moonology was really cheap and I had a gift certificate for Barnes and Noble, so that's why I got it. Because I was on the fence about Moonology for a long time. But it's the back is beautiful. They're very rich, nice feeling cards. I like them a lot. So then closely related but not quite the same is the what do we got here? My astrology decks, which there's a couple that I still have on my list. So I got the Black Moon, okay, and then I've got the Astrological Oracle. I don't really like the Astrological Oracle that much. It's a low Scarborough as well. I did not pick this for myself. This came in one of my boxes. The other one I'm looking at is the Numinous Oracle. Oh yeah, the Moonology is very nice. And I'm gonna have to see whichever one is the one that Rochelle's talking about here. Oh, the Black Moon's nice. I do like the Black Moon. This one's a little bit more simple. I'm having a hard time like really fleshing out deep information from it. But I do think that it would be nice for like signifiers or just like you know adding richness to a different reading. Oh, that's really cool. So I'm still looking for astrology decks. I have a couple on my list. I'm gonna look for Rochelle's walkthrough of that other one because I'm super interested in widening that because I have a deep, profound interest in astrology, and so I'm really excited. I'm really, you're dying. I'm really excited about that. So then I have a couple ancestor oracles. So this is the I'm going to be doing basically a walkthrough for every deck I own to post on my channel. That's true, Rochelle. That is true. I have used them for that purpose as well. These ones are really beautiful, and I really liked comparing like their different guides and ancestors. It was like it really works really well with this other deck here. Let me find it. That's cool. And it's important because like when I see a deck that interests me, the number one thing that I want to do is go to your guys' channel and see if anybody's done a walkthrough. So I can be like, okay, I need to look at all of these. I need to see if this card is something I like. They are beautiful. I love them. They go really well with this other ancestor deck that I just got, which is the Angels and Ancestors, which is really, really beautiful. I like comparing those two. Those are the two that I compare. So I'm really excited about that. And then I have a whole bunch of other themes that don't really fit into any one theme because most of these I did not buy myself. I got them like in a box. So I mean, I do believe that they mean something. They came to me, so they mean something. Wah! I'm just having a hard time connecting with some of them because, like the Angel Oracle, I don't like the art. I do like angels, and I always have. Um, I really don't like the art for this deck, so I'm really struggling with it. And then I have no feelings about peace, so there's that. I haven't really invested. I haven't really invested any time in there. The Lightworker Oracle. I mean, I've heard really, really good things about Alana Fairchild. I just haven't connected with these at all. These ones I love. I love Stacey DeMarco. She's really cool, and I love this. It's never a bad time for Halloween. This one I also have not connected with. I'm just not that into them. So it's kind of like this one's one that I got in the Witch's Moon, also not very helpful in my opinion. It might be nice like with the art's pretty. I like the art. Reminds me of Lisa Frank. But the thing is like there's a deck by Alana that I'm looking at and I can't remember which one it is. God bless America. What's that deck by Alana that I'm looking at? I mean they're okay. The ones I've got to think. The Isis Oracle, that's right. I've heard that they're like a really good deep deck, and so I'm really no, it's Isis Oracle. It's Isis Oracle, and so I really want that. I bought this after seeing it on your channel, Rochelle, and I absolutely love them. And I'm looking at buying Stacey DeMarco's Animal Oracle, and then there's one other Oracle. It's like a Kickstarter from Kittens, Weights, and Tarot's page did a recent thing, and they gave you a free ebook. What the heck? I can't think of it, but I want to really expand my animal decks. I really love the animals. I love that a lot. I have the crystal one I haven't worked with as much as I've wanted. But someday, I'm gonna have time to do that. I was gifted this one also, Crystal Grid Oracle cards. So I keep them kind of together. These two are kind of miscellaneous. Universe Has Your Back and Wisdom of the Oracle. They're fun. I think another channel I really like is the Violet. Oh baby. I forget her channel name, but she mixes cards together. She does different deck combinations and I mean a lot of people do the pick a pile and you have like a pile with different cards to get a reading. I love those. I love watching guys do those. But this one's more of like she literally shuffles them together and makes the deck like a new deck. Be Love and Crystals. That's right, Rochelle. I love her. I don't know why my brain is just like today. I think it's because I'm distracted because I don't think this little guy is going to make it. I think that they're passing away. But at least they're passing away with all the love that I have for them. So there's that. I just got this in a box last month, so this ought to be really neat. These are really cool. They were designed by Maya Toll. I really love her. I have the Herbery cards, and I have the bestiary cards, and I'm gonna get the crystallary cards, but I haven't put them, like, I don't have anywhere to store them just yet, and so they're still in the book. And then I've got like 3 of these, and I think another one's coming. These cute little tiny ones. I think that they're like another one that you could use to like add some depth and richness to your readings, but I don't think that they necessarily are alone for reading alone. So I'm gonna watch your guys' things so I can pick out some um, decks that I want. I have another deck coming from this company, Threads of Fate. It's a tarot deck. I love their oracle so much, and I thought that it would work really well if I had both to like do some layered, in-depth readings. So if you guys know, number one, I'm looking for tarot decks with a beautiful Hierophant card, or just extremely beautiful art in general. I really like that Light Seekers Tarot. I'm probably gonna buy it, Rochelle. I love that Hierophant. And I'm probably gonna buy the Lord of the Rings Tarot because the Hierophant is Gandalf. How could you not? Um, I'm interested in any goddess ones. I'm interested in any moon ones. I'm interested in any astrology ones. I'm interested in anything by with animals. And my favorite people are like, I really love Stacey DeMarco. I really love Colette Baron Reed, and I'm interested in Alana Fairchild, but I haven't invested in anything by her yet. So I'm really kind of like keeping an eye on. You know, Summer, I don't know if you've seen the fairy article by Brian Froud. You might like it. It was very like dark fairy. Not necessarily like evil fairies, but just like for me it was a shadow deck. I'm gonna read the comments now. Yeah, he's not gonna make it. He's gasping and his little neck's all turned around. Yeah, the Light Seers Tarot. I want that, Rochelle. I've got to rewatch Yvette's walkthrough of the manga one. Oh, Lily, thank you. They're gonna pass away. Yeah, he's passing away right now. Try not to think negatively about it though, because he's right on my heart chakra. So I want him to just feel love. I want him to go out with love, because basically he'd be dead by now. His mom abandoned him in the nest, and he would have just his body temperature would have gone too cold, and he would have went into a coma and died. So I don't even know if I helped, except for the fact that he doesn't have to die alone. So oh, he has 2. I don't know. I bought mine like 15 years ago when I first bought the deck. I bought 3. Lover's Path, The Goddess Guidance, and the Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud. And I don't wasn't for me. Oh, thanks, Rochelle. I think so too. I hope you have another life where you're well loved. This guy, I hope he has another life where he has a happy ending instead of what's happening now. Anyways, how have you guys been? My boys are outside playing, and I'm just like chilling out. I'm trying to do a live a week just to like not with any one purpose in mind, because I feel like since my lives have been getting kicked by YouTube randomly, I don't want to put all this work into doing an astrology lesson and have it kicked and banned from YouTube. So those are going to be pre-recorded, um, which is fine. Pardon me. Yeah. I don't know if it's a boy or girl. I do not know how to sex. I know some people can take their little wings and just kind of guess if the gender pretty accurately, but I have never been able to do that. And honestly, it's never mattered to me. I've just let the animals do what they do. Oh, no, I don't even know. I literally just go live and it comes up live. So that's been pretty cool. Um, I have to look at StreamYard. I've also been thinking about having an intro made, but I also own Adobe Photoshop. So technically I could make an intro. I just have been not lazy, but preoccupied. My final is in 2 weeks. My final project's due on the 18th, but my final comprehensive exam is due on like the 7th of May, which is coming up. Um, oh, that's true. I'll have to look at that, Rochelle, because getting kicked off by YouTube is really, really, really annoying to me. Especially since like I don't have any. It's literally just me sitting in my house talking, so I don't know why that would get me banned. I don't have anything that's like offensive. There's no music playing. I don't have anything, any reason for them to kick me, so it's kind of weird. I have the urge to touch these. This was really expensive. If you go to Threads of Fate, they make beautiful cards. Um, but they're expensive. But I will say that they feel like velvet. They have a really heavy cardstock and a very nice feel on your hands. Beautiful book. And I like how the book is divided up too. And then it's got like this interesting. I've read that, Rochelle, that it's being like monitored by bots, and so they're actually having more people um, being banned than would normally be. So Love Bug Lift. Hi, Catastrophic. So Love Bug Lift. The number one thing that I did. So here's how I started. I was called to work to the ancestors, and I also felt like not really knowing. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's got a really subtle glitter too. Not really knowing where to start, right? So I highly recommend for you to go to the Witch's Box. She does the Witch's Booktube. It's Elena at the Witch's Box. She does a series called the Witch's Booktube, and she reviews books. And so what she usually tries to coincide with is if her box for the month is going to have a certain theme, she tries to do books around that theme to help deepen your practice, right? So in October, she reviewed like 5 books on honoring your ancestral medicine, ancestral healing, all these books, 5 of them, excellent books. I think I own 4 of the 5. The best one, because I asked her since she read them all, which she would recommend. Ancestral Medicine by Daniel Four was number 1. And then there's also I want to say it's either on. There's 2. There's one that's honoring the ancestors and one that's honoring your ancestors. Both of them are good, but one's a little bit more radical than the other. It's more of a deeper dive into certain aspects, and then healing the ancestors or something, healing with the ancestors. So those are the 4 that I ended up getting. She recommended starting with ancestral medicine because he literally starts like step by step, basic, and like he gives you lots of little exercises to do, and also just like how to stay safe, how to not get involved with just because somebody is dead and they're your ancestors does not mean that they're in a good place. There still needs to be some healing. People are not like always okay when they die. So that was really, really good. Um, it is expensive, but it is so beautiful. I'm gonna do I have a full walkthrough coming out tomorrow at 7 a.m. But I'm gonna kind of glance through them right now. Anyway, Ancestral Medicine, Daniel 4. If you want to know all the information from these books, like she gives you a very in-depth synopsis. So I would look out for Witches Book 2, and you could put in ancestor, and it should pop up with all these things. She did a whole bunch of reviews. She's very thorough. She's very in depth. If she didn't like it very much, or if she thought it wasn't as strong, she would tell you why exactly, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. And it's really helpful. It really helped me. And um, honestly, it's working. It's working because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I firmly believe that there's 7 generations and all of us are right in the middle. And everything that's been done to us affects us, and everything that we do affects down to our great grandchildren. So the buck stops with us. If there's some family trauma, if there's some bullshit, you have to stop it. You have to stop it. And there's only so much you can do because with all the research that we're doing into epigenetics, we are proving with science that what has happened to your great grandmother directly affected you. So we know that ancestral curses and family traumas and all of these suffering and problems and everything that happens to you directly affects your descendants. We have scientific evidence for that. It's called epigenetics. So, for example, a woman is born with every egg that she'll ever have in her body, right? 250,000 eggs, every child that you will ever bear, every possibility of a child you were born with, meaning that those eggs are inside of you when you're inside of your mother, right? So, my son has been inside of my mother. And had I had a daughter, my daughter would be inside of me, inside of my mom. So everything that happened to my mom affected her granddaughter. And farther back, because everything that affected my mom affected, affected my grandmother, affected my mom, it affected me, it affected my children, and so on and so on and so forth. Epigenetics is actually kind of terrifying because it literally is talking about how these different traumatic events and these different events, your nutrition, if you were depressed, if you were in a war zone, like how all of these things literally change your DNA. And then it'll change your children, and it'll change your children's children, and so on and so forth. The Native Americans knew what they were fucking talking about millennia ago when they said there's 7 generations. I mean, there's more than 7 generations, but we're the fourth. Everything that's been done before us affects us, and everything that we do affects our descendants. And so ancestral medicine for me is about saying, like, no, we will not pass this curse down. No, we will not have this family drama down. No, we will not keep making these same fucking mistakes over and over and over again. I won't let it. And oh, I was talking about epigenetics, Rochelle. I don't know what did you. So basically, I'm gonna have to sit up a little bit, but I don't want to make this guy so uncomfortable because he's really struggling. My back hurts. Oh boy, my poor little guy. Okay, so just very, very, very briefly, somebody asked me if they wanted to start with ancestral work, where should they start? I was recommending Elena's channel, which is BookTube, and I was just saying that, like, for me, ancestral work is very important. We have scientific evidence called epigenetics. The study of epigenetics is literally how your ancestors' health and their situation affects you. And so I've said it before and I will say it again, you know, spiritually there's 7 generations. The 3 before you affect you, you affect the 3 after you. To me, that's what ancestral work is about. But scientifically, we can prove that as well. The only thing is that it's terrifying because no matter how enlightened you are, no matter how many changes you are, these things are physically part of your DNA. The good news is that you can make changes that will affect you for the rest of your life, right? Every time that you make a decision to do something, it helps rewire your brain to make that decision again. So, for example, every time that you react with patience to somebody that normally pisses you the fuck off, you start wiring your brain to react with patience instead of the knee jerk reaction. Oh, good night, Summer. Um, so we can reprogram ourselves and we can change our fate. That's why divination is wonderful, but divination is not set in stone. There's always a chance that you can make different choices that will affect the outcome. Nothing is set in stone. You're still a free being and you can still make changes, make different choices, and that's part of it. Sovereignty over yourself is part of it. Um, I'm really concerned about what we are going to pass down to our children and great grandchildren. I'm interested in legacies. And so, what is the legacy that we're passing down? That's really important to me. And so, ancestral medicine and ancestral work and ancestral worship for both me and my husband. My son is still too little, but it has been really good for us, really grounding, really meaningful, um, really good, really good. And I hope and I believe that we will have like a revival where people will start doing more of it because our primitive cultures did this. It's in our nature to want to do this. I believe firmly. So that's where I am with that. I know that amethyst, the epigenetics thing's horrific. I It's not my favorite science because it's just like, okay, for example, all those children in those migrant camps on the border, those poor fucking kids, the shame of our country. What is happening to them will affect every descendant they'll ever have. Everything. All that trauma. Holocaust survivors, same thing. Survivors of domestic violence, same thing. People with low socioeconomic status. Um, I don't mean worship like I mean honoring. I mean respectful remembrance and consideration. I don't know if I would say I worship anything. I think that I'm devoted. Worship's a challenging word for me because it sounds like I don't have any autonomy. Um, I would say that devotion's a better word and honor. And those are really important delineations. I don't worship anything really. I don't like that word. Um, I would say we honor our ancestors. We remember them. We think of them. We honor their sacrifice, and every good thing that we have is because of them. I mean, really think about that. That's one of the concepts, that's one of the things that pisses me off the most about modern society is that we have this concept that people make themselves, and you don't really. Number one, your culture helps you, and number two, your direct parental unit, your family unit helps you. So, like, everything that I have is because my mom worked her fucking ass off and put good values in me. Okay? Everything. That's all the basis. It really is. And everything that she has is because my grandparents made these sacrifices for them to have a better life. I mean, granted, she had a lot of gumption. She had a lot of drive to take what she got and make the life that she made for us. And that's what we're always trying to do better than our parents. Our parents want us to. And but you should never forget that everything is because of them. So we're not very good at that in our culture. We throw our old people away, literally. They're inconvenient to us. Um, so I really hope that makes a comeback here. Um, because even if they hurt you, and granted, a lot of old people have done some terrible shit to us that we not okay. But there is some good things that comes of it, and for better or for worse, it shapes you. So the reason that this idea is problematic, though, for me, exactly, guys, exactly. The reason it's problematic for me is because we have generational poverty, and we know that the number one factor that determines your health is socioeconomic status. People who have means do better, people without means do worse. Number one indicator of how healthy you're going to be. That's a big burden. And not just that, we know that children from lower income families don't hear as many words as children from higher income families. Children from lower income families are less likely to get proper education. They're less likely to come from homes with a parent or with two parents. They are more likely to have um, had known food scarcity or have not as good nutrition. Exactly. So when we say that everybody has the same time in the day, that is not true. That is not true. There's 24 hours in a day for everybody, but if you are a single mom who is trying to cook, clean, work, and raise children, your time is a lot more tight and scarce than my time with a stay-at-home parent, right? Or if you don't have a vehicle and you have to take public transportation, you guys may have the same amount of hours in a day, but your hours are used doing basic things that other people have convenience for, right? So that's the thing that pissed me off. Like, for example, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's like, oh, learn another language. It's like, Gwyneth Paltrow, you got a fucking maid, you got tutors, you got a house cleaner, you got blah blah fucking blah. And it's just like the rest of us are like, okay, I've got to clean the house. I've got to plant the garden. I've got to cook the food. I've got to do some educational stuff with my kid. One of us has to work. One of us has to do laundry. One of us has to fix the fence, take care of the animals, and blah, 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 blah. So we may have the same hours in the day, but she has money, which buys time. She has money to pay people to do things that take up my time that I don't have the money to pay people. And I'm pretty well off. So like I can't imagine people who are very poor who like can't afford to eat out, so they must cook every meal. And that takes time. Or people who have um, different things like transportation issues, very low paying jobs. Those are all things. So we have this concept that poverty is related to how hard you're trying, and that is absolutely not true. And so then we have generational poverty, and we have these kids who had parents, if they were lucky, who were struggling to survive, but didn't have the time to teach them how to not struggle to survive because how do they know how to do that? So, ancestral medicine is really, 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 really important. If you compare, like, for example, my son, he's more lucky than 90% of the kids on the planet. He has two college educated parents. One of his parents stay at home with him. We make decent money. We have a beautiful house. He lives in the country. He lives in America. He looks white. Like, there's a lot of things going on here that benefit my son. Another kid in my community, for example, has a single mom. He doesn't know who his dad is. He may have a cognitive disorder. Um, Either way, mom is always struggling, different babysitters. There's always something else that is that we take for granted that is affecting your chance at life, at success. Foster kids, kids who's exactly, and that's what we want, right? We want that for our children. But the thing is, you have to have parents who want that for you. We have an opiate epidemic, literally thousands and thousands of people who are doing all sorts of different types of drugs, and these people have children. And what are their children getting out of it? And that's true. That's wonderful. But there are families out there who don't have that. And so, hi, Mystical Moonflower. I'm talking about some deep, heavy shit here. So basically, one of the things that I think is unfair is that one of the things that's so for me, the two most important things that we, in my opinion, have an obligation to provide to every citizen in our country for the benefit of society is education and healthcare. So education is supposed to be the great equalizer because theoretically, it doesn't matter where you come from if you're talented or smart or you have innovative ideas or whatever, whatever, whatever. However, if your family is so poor that you're struggling to eat, then you probably seems like a good idea to drop out of school and not pursue engineering or whatever it is that you're good at so that you can help pay those bills. If your school is funded by property taxes and you live in a poor neighborhood with low property value, then the money for your education is less. So you're not getting the same quality of an education as somebody who lives in Beverly Hills because there's more property tax money in Beverly Hills paying for their education. That's not fair. That's not equal. Um, you know, if you have an unsafe home, if the only food you get is at school, if um, you're unlucky and you have to help support your family either by constantly watching your siblings or having to work to have put money on the table or having to go without, those are all, yeah, um, those are all things that affect this generation, and even things that our parents or some of you older people had in school, like home economics or um, shop class or welding or these things that are like skills that you still need to survive, kids are not learning. And if your parent was struggling, was doing payday loans, was not paying bills, was had poor credit, how are you supposed to know how to manage your bills, how to make a budget, and how to have good credit? How can you how how do you do that? We don't learn that shit from osmosis. That is a really hard concept to learn, even when you come from a family who does that well. Adulting is like going from 0 to 60 in the best of situations, much less in one where you, like, your parents never knew how to do that. Exactly. And it's just like we expect so much from people who have so little. And I mean, as far as we're talking about nutrients for their soil in which they grew, right? If you have, like Tupac Shakur. He says, if there's a rose growing out of the sidewalk, you should literally appreciate the fact that a rose grew up out of the sidewalk. It might not make the most beautiful roses, it might be scraggly, ugly, but literally, despite all odds, this plant grew where it shouldn't. And so that's something. I mean, that's not his exact words, but that was the concept, right? Very smart man, Tupac. So, ancestral work, ancestral healing, honoring your ancestors, respecting where you came from, not just our blood ancestors, but the women before us who fought for our rights, the witches before us, and the religious people before us who fought for our rights to being visible, to being accepted, to not being harassed or hurt or unsafe because we're witches or because we're women and we have jobs and we're uppity or because we wear shorts or breastfeed in public. Like everything that we enjoy and that we appreciate, somebody sacrificed for, somebody worked hard for, somebody did that. So respecting and honoring your ancestors isn't just about healing your personal bloodline. It's also our ancestors of place, and it's also our ancestors of our type. So like our witches, our Hispanics, our whatever, whatever, whatever it is for you. If you are gay, if you are, I mean, especially like things like that. If you are gay or transgender, you had best respect those people who literally fucking died for you to have some modicum of respect. And it's still not enough. It is still not enough. Hi, are you guys ready to come in?
Yeah, come on.
It's okay. I can wrap it up. Are you guys ready to come watch cartoons?
No, I need to go pee. I mean, go.
I'm sorry, guys. That got really heavy. But yes, please. I love this conversation. Let's talk about this more often. Honoring your ancestors, really important. Um, really good for you. I cannot express how meaningful and important and like good for my spirit, almost more than anything else. It has been to like, thank you so much. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama, for everything that you did so that I can have this life. Thank you, Abuelita. Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you. Thank you for my ancestors who were Native Americans on these islands that got their asses handed to them and survived through some terrible shit. Thank you so much for surviving, for loving your children, for raising them, for doing this. Thank you. And that's really important. Oh, I'm sorry, Amathos. I am proud. It's good. When you feel low, our ancestors have gone through worse. We can do this. We owe it to our descendants to do this. We can do this. It's going to be okay. When you feel like taking the easy way out, always remember that your actions are going to affect our kids and our grandkids and our great grandkids. And so we have better get our shit together because the buck stops with us. We're having our little Cosmol breathing. So there's a certain breathing that goes on um, before you pass away. Yeah, exactly. I am so grateful. And that's the thing. Gratitude is a superpower. I firmly believe that if you always think that your life sucks, it sucks. It sucks because you suck. And it's not because you have to suck. You don't have to suck. It's because your perception and your attitude make your reality. If you go through life, it's like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank you. Everything changes because you don't have to be here. You get to be here. You don't have to do this. You get to do this. It doesn't you feel hopeful when you're grateful and you see how much you actually have. You feel hopeful because you know it's possible to get more, and not just necessarily get more, but like you have done great things. You have survived amazing things. If you're here right now, you have probably been hurt, betrayed, loved, laughed deep in your belly with all of your heart. Like you have felt these highs and lows of human emotions, and you can do it again and you will do it again. And that's something to be grateful for. Yes, we will. We will. Anyways, guys, it's been a long time. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't get too like heavy. I'm feeling really heavy. It's really hard for I feel like when you give birth, when something dies with you, the veil thins, right? So I'm feeling it. If you can, in your own small way, I would suggest honoring your ancestors. And for me, I light candles. I have their pictures out. I offer them food and drink, and I think about them. And we thank them regularly. Um, and we devotionally honor them by maintaining a space where that is their space in our home. You don't have to do that. I love you too, Rochelle. I love you guys. This really nourishes me, my spirit. Our community nourishes my spirit, and I'm really grateful. Um, you honor them however feels right to you, but as long as you think some grateful thoughts and appreciate what has come before you for you to have what you have now, I think that you will find that life gets better. It feels better even if nothing changes. All right, I love you guys. I'm gonna go. Stay tuned for that walkthrough tomorrow, and I'm trying to put up content as much as I can, just because like I'm gonna be tired anyway. I might as well be tired and connecting with people. So I love you so much. Take care. Thank you for joining me. Um, I'll try to do this every Sunday except for when we're camping, which is hopefully in a few weeks. Because we primitive camp, we don't go to campgrounds. But anyways, I love you guys. Stay safe and good night.